Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back, and it is time for another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 AlphaStar replay cast. Today we are going to be on the map Cyber Forest for game number 1. And we have got the star itself, AlphaStar, playing Terran in the bottom right hand. And we're gonna be the David trying to slay Goliath. It is the Diamond Zerg. We have seen a lot of Diamond players go up against AlphaStar, and a lot of them have failed. However, every now and then we see something that's usually on the more cheesy end beat the AI. It's not often that we see a ton of macro games or anything completely win against the AI. But for example, we'll see Nidus's, proxy barracks. Yeah, I'd say those are the two rushes that it loses to the most. BC rushes have killed it in the past. It's a bit of a list, but it's generally pretty solid against most things. As the AI just goes, or these AI are mainly just about trying to get the best win rate possible, and just the way that it plays out on ladder, I figure, or just the way that it plays out sometimes, is that even if you have a good win rate, you'll still lose against certain strategies a fair bit. So that's something to think about. As far as this game goes, we've got a spawning pool on the way for the Zerg, and then we have got barracks finishing on up for AlphaStar, so gonna be going for the good old Reaper expand, while the Zerg just does, you know, Zerg stuff, I guess. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this video, as usual, seeing as how we'll say there is 1, 2, 3, 4 bases, let's try and hit 4 likes on this video. If we can do that, that would be absolutely amazing. Show your love for AlphaStar. And yeah, if you are new to the channel too, consider subscribing if you enjoy this kind of StarCraft 2 content. It does help motivate me to keep putting it out if you guys enjoy it. Now we take a look. Speed is on the way for the Zerg. There is still gas being mined, which is notable indeed. Maybe the Zerg's just a little late pulling those off, or maybe he does have nefarious intent to maybe throw up a lair, Roach warns, something like that. For now, though, the Lings are just going to shoo the Reaper away. Almost catches and kills the Reaper of AlphaStar. So far, no dice, though. The AI can be hit or miss with its Reaper. Sometimes it'll lose it in just silly fashion, like the last TVZ we cast, AlphaStar, didn't actually scout the Nidus Worm because it lost its Reaper early on. And other times it'll just absolutely massacre workers with the Reaper over and over again. So it's hard to predict exactly how well it's going to go. But as far as the Zerg player, everything seems to be in order. Just mining the gas still, which is notable. Could hint at some aggression. AlphaStar going to be getting up the Alpha Port, and then just going to be building the siege tank, making some Marines. We'll see what the starport's going to be used. Usually it is indeed for Banshees, as it's AlphaStar. AlphaStar, Terran, and Banshees are pretty much synonymous at this point. However, it can always make other units out of the starport, and this time it's actually going to be a Medivac. So potentially one of those Marine tank pushes from the AI, as we do see Marines and tanks being made, obviously. It's not rocket science. So that is a bit of a different build, particularly for TVZ, which for the most part usually is all about mass Hellions. These Lings are chilling here for the Diamond player still, as he's just macroing on up. Just playing a pretty straight up macro game. Hasn't ran any into the base of AlphaStar just yet. Does end up seeing the Marines, does end up seeing the 3rd CC though, which is quite nice. Indicates that there's no Hellions, so you don't really need to worry about that. Can probably ease off the Lings a little bit. However, the Zerg player is still making some Roaches to help defend against a potential push. But then can just drone up as he's seen the 3rd base that AlphaStar threw up. So looking pretty solid for the Diamond Zerg, as long as he reacts and plays this game out as you'd expect. There's a couple more extractors going up for the Diamond player. He's going to be on 3 bases. The lair is on the way now. Yeah, everything seems to be pretty good. This drop may get some damage done, though. Killed off one of the Roaches so far. AlphaStar loads the units back into the Medivac. May just unload somewhere. We shall see. Where are the queens? There are the queens. The Queens really will help shut down this Medivac, and the Medivac is now going to go hide in the left corner, but oh, AlphaStar, Alpha Derp, up, keeps the Medivac alive just barely. Alright, it's got a third of its health. There is double bunker going up for AlphaStar, which is quite interesting. A bunker on the high ground and a bunker on the low ground. I guess worried about a potential attack at this time for some reason. The Banshee is out though. It can move out to start harassing. Notably, there isn't cloak on AlphaStar's Banshees at this point in the game just yet. There's a chance that maybe it was like short on gas or something at the time. For now though, it is just going to be making the Banshees the tanks, the Marines. And as this is a 3cc play, yeah, we should be seeing more production going up. We don't usually see just Terran's 1-1-1 all in off the back of 3cc's. You do that off of 1 or 2 bases. It's pretty much a shoo-in for you to get extra production up as a Terran of your 3cc. For now, we see this drop at the natural base of the Zerg, pulling the Zerg's drones away. Very well done by AlphaStar. Going to be getting an extractor. The Queens probably want to target down that Medivac if they can. Otherwise, these units will just load back on up, and they do just that. All the while, Roach speed on the way for the Diamond player. Yeah, just droning up, but oh, once again, we're starting to see that slip from the Zerg player. His macro got messed up a little bit by the drop. His Queens have a lot of energy for transfuse, for injects or creep tumors they should be spreading, and if we take a look at the worker count right now, it is 50 to 50, which does not bode well for the Zerg players. AlphaStar's macro is just starting to take off like it usually does. Yeah, that third base is being taken, the tanks are being made, 1-1 is on the way. There hasn't been stim started up just yet, but I imagine we'll see that soon. And there's the stim, we'll see a couple more barracks, see the starport float over. Quite a normal macro game from AlphaStar. Now, something that I do enjoy seeing from the Diamond player right now is the choice to go for burrow. Burrowed roaches are always very, very strong. Burrowed banelings are a possibility. We do see drones have been forced to evacuate the third base, though. I'm guessing because of these Banshees. A few roaches and ravagers are counterattacking for the Diamond player, but if we take a look right now, his entire army, which wasn't very big in the first place, kind of just melted to AlphaStar. We see the drop on the right-hand side being a pain. And yeah, the Zerg player, who had a pretty solid macro opening, has just clearly fallen off. He never built a spore at his third base. His Queens were out of position really to help with those Banshees, as the Banshees are now going to come back in towards the third. And yeah, this does not look good for the Zerg player. AlphaStar comes on in with the Banshees, going to be able to target down some workers. The Queens are doing what they can. However, a lot of drones will die beforehand. Currently 9 drones have gone down, which isn't a ton in the grand scheme of things. I'd just say the main threat for the Diamond player is the fact that he hasn't macroed as well as he should have. The fact that AlphaStar is up 60 supply against a Zerg who's making mainly roaches. There's a Hive and a Spire on the way for the Zerg player, but yeah, this is looking pretty textbook by AlphaStar this game. There's tanks, there's Marines. What more do you need, Terran players? This is all we need to see. Just a bunch of Marines and tanks. Now gonna move across the map. Now probably gonna kill this Zerg player who doesn't really have anything to counter Marines or tanks. Maybe he was planning on rushing into Broodlords or Ultras or something, but he's not going to make it there. AlphaStar is going to push on in, doing a bit of a leapfrog, but stepping onto creep with a bajillion Marines cleaning up said creep. A lot of roaches are being made for the Diamond player, but he can make roaches for days, and they're just not what he needs, or not what you can use to come back from a deficit. A couple Marines get caught off. One of the tanks dies, but this is just the tip of the spear from AlphaStar. Oh no, don't do it, roaches! Oh, big tank shots. Oh god. Oh, close your eyes, everybody. Close your eyes. That was a disaster. Those tanks shelling into the roaches. Flings, roaches, a few units here and there being made. The Greater Spire was never started up. So there's really no redeeming factor coming for the Diamond player. And this is interesting. I mean, we saw a pretty solid macro opening from the Diamond player. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, it's just 2 points crossing in which AlphaStar's macro kicks in. And the Diamond player starts to fall off as the game goes on. And AlphaStar, I mean, I'm not necessarily going to say it gets better at macro as the game goes on, but it just doesn't get any worse. It continues macroing at a constant rate, whereas humans seemingly tend to ignore their macro a little bit as the game goes on, as there's action around the map. We see the Ultra Cavern and Greater Spire get thrown up by the Diamond player. In some universe, if AlphaStar dilly-dallies too long, maybe the Diamond player could get to Ultras. However, he's also really not mining enough gas to even make a significant number of these, as he's just super-duper gas-starved. He's got some Roaches, got some Lings, but they only have +1 Carapace. AlphaStar is on its way to 2-2, getting up at 5th base, because why not? AlphaStar is a boss. Here come in the Marines. They're going to start hitting the 3rd base. These Lings and Roaches may try, but they will not succeed to shut this down. Look at all these Marines for AlphaStar. 60 Marines going to be just cutting everything up. Oh, it is beautiful. Not for Zerg players, but yeah, it's just comical how many Marines AlphaStar made. GG. Okay, so into the next game, and we have got Alpha Z. This time, in the bottom right, we have got Master Z, and personally, I'm hoping for some high-octane aggression this one. I want to see someone try some Ling Bane micro against AlphaStar. Cheese it out. As I love to see how AlphaStar reacts to cheese, and I think ZVZ is a good match to do that. If I had to play a ZVZ against AlphaStar, you can sure bet I'm going to try and cheese the AI out. I think it would be a surefire bet. That's what I'd have to do. We do see, though, the Masters player is gonna be just macroing up, it would seem. I do want to see it be the player who gets aggressive. If AlphaStar is going to get aggressive, it'll probably be that Roach timing it does in ZVZ, ever so lethal. And that really does seem to be one of AlphaStar's main Zerg traits. How lethal it can be when it comes to doing a Roach versus Roach or a ZVZ attack. The matchup is not called Roach versus Roach, even though sometimes it can seem like it. Usually, though, it can be pretty darn exciting. The map is Cyber Forest, if I didn't mention that before. And wowee, look at this. Completely mirrored builds. Humanity and robots think alike, apparently. This just goes to show how human-like AlphaStar is if its build is looking like a human's. Or does that mean that the Masters player is secretly a robot too? Who knows? These are the big questions to ask. Overlords passing each other like two ships in the night. Yeah, everything looks pretty darn normal. The players building up their gas, building up their hatcheries. Once the hatcheries and pools are done, that's where we see them start to make units. Just based on the timings, though, both players are mining gas. The only notable thing I could think of in a ZVZ in regards to the gas would be one of the players not starting Ling speed right away, because that means they're probably going to be using their gas for something else. And oh, AlphaStar briefly started its speed, but then it canceled it, and then it restarts it. The AI sometimes does that, and I'm not really sure why. If it just decides it needs minerals or something like that in order to make a drone or a queen, it is kind of interesting how the AI will do that. Why does it start and cancel upgrades at times? That is something that I would like to know. Now, we take a look. There's a third base on the way for the Masters player. AlphaStar is going for the couple of extra queens first, so that's usually just a stylistic choice. However, if AlphaStar does clear out the Overlords and plan to go for some aggression later, which it's doing right now, is clearing away some of the Overlords, so its attack isn't scouted, then something could be a little bit awry for the Masters player. And if we do take a look, we do see the Roach Warren is on the way, so with AlphaStar shooing away these Overlords, the Masters player doesn't necessarily know if there's a third base for the AI. And if the Masters player sees there isn't a third base, this could maybe tip him off. Generally, your mind might be thinking mutas or whatever. You'd probably want to even just commit an Overlord in, or run a Ling in, something like that to try and spot it. With speed about to finish up for the Masters player, maybe he can get some Lings in. He spots the double gas, he runs in, he sees the Roach Warren for AlphaStar. This could be the tip-off that he needs of potential aggression coming his way. At the same time, AlphaStar could always just completely back off the aggression. as sometimes the AI does that. If it knows its attack's been spotted, it will completely abandon the attack. Looking at this, though, we do see the master player who made a decent chunk of lings, or just a handful of lings, is going to try and do what he can with them while he's also making a Roach Warren, as he knows he'll need those to help defend. The lings are going to run into the main base. They run into the roaches. That has been officially scouted. If you're the Masters player right now, you're probably panicking, like, maybe we should see an Evo wall start or something from him. For now, though, it really does just seem that he's going to be trying to get up his Roach Horn, then fire up as many roaches as he can. He's got 11 larvae. If he has the minerals, then he can make a decent number of roaches, which may be enough to hold on from the attack that'll be coming from AlphaStar. This is the classic all-in that the AI has been doing. We see a single drone startup from the Masters player. That's not what we want to see. It needs to be all hands on deck with this one, buddy. You gotta defend this attack, or you will just be a dead nerd. There's the 11 roaches making for the Masters player. It can't just be 11, though. He's got to be making more and more. Looks like he fires up a lone Baneling, interestingly enough, and maybe he's just gonna completely abandon his third base, which I honestly don't dislike as a decision. The roaches are going to move out, take a fight now, try and focus down the Ravager. He gets it, but it's going to cost him his own roaches, losing them in greater number than AlphaStar. And I think that the master player may just have committed too far out. His roaches are completely surrounded now. Oh my gosh, AlphaStar with a total bopping, it seems, this game. The Masters player started mustering a defense, I'd say, in a semi-timely enough manner, but then stepping out to fight is not what he should have done. Maybe he didn't actually react quick enough. However, yeah, it's just too much from AlphaStar. The queens are here. It is a good high ground fight from the Masters player. His third base is under attack, but his roaches are actually on the high ground, putting out a lot of damage. So there's a chance that if he continues to use this high ground, maybe it'll work out for him. But once again, he's fighting a little bit too low. The lings are going to move in that are reinforcing for AlphaStar. It seems like this is just going to be too many units for the AI. The Masters Zerg is going to fall as AlphaStar pushes in for another W. Nicely done, AlphaStar. A very solid game overall. GG gets called. AlphaStar is going to take the 2-0, and that's going to make this quite a quick video. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Join the Discord, which is linked in the description. This has been LaughNgamez. I'll see you next time.